There is Pam Smith. She promises an outstanding time together. This is our first official videotaping on the ground in Auckland, New Zealand. This group is tired. They're worn out. They're tired, but as David Letterman used to say, it's a good kind of tired. Anticipation, hunger pangs, resentment, reconsideration of why they took this trip. I'm not going to ask people to identify themselves. We've done far too much of that. I will say that Mel has incurred a violation on the plane. A passenger did complain about him. Harassment.
Yeah, but you paid him.
So we're headed to our hotel, 128 Albert Street, Crown Plaza. Rich Higdon is here. Deb, they're still kind of on their honeymoon. Ron Weberg, my dear friend, and the only couple to provide our first glitch, Doug McAllister. Doug, would you tell the folks at home what happened?
Well, we got here and Diane's suitcase did not show up, so we had to wait and made all of our co-workers wait. I mean, not co-workers, but co-passengers wait on the trip. So we're sorry about that.
It's okay.
It's going to be here sometime after midnight, delivered to the hotel.
Okay, so let's go. Let's head.
Just before we move, just a couple of things. So by the look of the breeze that's out there, you would have come in over the Manukau Harbour and off the Tasman Sea. You didn't have to circle around, I would think, you just came straight in. You are correct. You would have come in over water. Well, there's only two ways you can land in Auckland, either over the water or over the city. So if you're over the water, you've come in from the west inside. So that's the breezes in behind us there now. So
sound system's good.
That's our second harbour in Auckland, Manukau Harbour. It's the very tidal, very tricky and dangerous sandbar at the entrance of it. So only fishing boats these days come in through there. Everything else goes around to the main harbour, which is by your... Yes, you must have come over the water to start with and then swung it around. You would have... Yes, you would have come into the wind. You would have come over the islands of the Gulf out. So it's out of our main harbour. Sorry, you are correct. You would have come in the main harbour over to the side of the city. Now, where you are staying, there is a lot of work going on in the city, so don't be alarmed. Your hotel's still there, there's not a big hole underneath or anything like that. But we are putting an underground railway system in part of the city.
Which one? Oh, the hotel.
A railway station that finishes at a brick wall. And they decided, of course, after a number of years that it doesn't work, which they should have decided, of course.
You're talking about the video.
Anyway. And so now we're spending billions of dollars, well, we spent billions of dollars boring 2 tunnels underneath part of the city. And
what?
So how many days have you had in Australia? Now, how long were you in Australia for? You didn't. Ah, so you came into Australia from the States.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So if you can't work out which side of the road you're on or which way to get on the coach, that explains it. You haven't had a chance yet to sort it out. Okay. Yes, so Australia and New Zealand, we both drive on the left-hand side of the road. So, yep, get used to getting in and out of the coach from the left. And might I point out to you all also that quite a few of you, when you came out of the customs area at the airport, you didn't look left or right. So may I ask that you do that before you cross a road, because you'll be so used to looking one way at home, it's completely different here. So in In fact, better still, if you go to cross the road, let the people in front of you step out first. They become the targets for the red light runners, and then you'll be safe and sound. So, yes, just to be a bit slower on stepping out. So if you wait just a short time, you keep an eye out, it'll start snowing, and then you'll be all getting nice and hot and sunburnt. Yeah. But Auckland is very narrow piece of land between the two harbours, and so rain can come through, wind, all that sort of stuff very quickly.
I'm not trying to brag. She goes, "Are you taking counselor?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "From Magic?" I go, "Yeah, right." She goes, "No, really?" Because you recruited from kids from down in Houston and brought them up. Not just Houston, Florida, New Mexico. I mean, I had this whole southeast. She goes,
most school days in New Zealand, 8:30, 9 o'clock-ish start till 3:30.
I said, "Yeah, I've been trying to get them to have the Northwest, the North, East, Southwest, South, and Southwest, and have beehives."
My mother's stories.
They didn't like that. They wanted me to.
Yeah.
I got you.
Most schools in New Zealand now have to wear uniform kits, and one of the features of most school uniforms now is a hat because of the sun, and
I just turned 67.
so Auckland's built around a series of extinct volcanic cones. There's one of them in front of us. So this one here is only a very short distance from where I live. I'm just up the road here to our left. This one's called Mount Roskill. And on the top of that we have a water reservoir. So if it ever comes back to life, we'll have boiling water for a few seconds before we all get fried. But anyway, we'll see what happens. But that's one of, there's over 50 of them altogether. There's a bit of a variety of amounts that people come up with as to how many we do have, but you'll see more of them tomorrow, and as you have a look around our city.
They always challenged me to movie challenge through the night. So I always we watched Rambo at that time. And then finally, he laid here, down there, and he was asleep. He couldn't stand it. Nobody could beat me.
But yeah. They do that in Europe.
So we're about to go down what we call the Waterview Tunnel. You can see there's another volcanic cone out there to the right. One's Mount Albert. When they built this section here for the motorway, they had to try and get rid of some very, very hard volcanic rock. And it wasn't because of the boring machine. It was what was covering the entrance, what was now the entrance of the tunnel, and that was the hardest part of the process. Once they got rid of that big wave or the big length that had come from out there to the right all the way across, went right through here, and then once they got rid of that, then they were able to get the boring machine in, and it was pretty much plain sailing from there after. But that's just typical of Auckland. We've got all these really good. It's hard, you can see some of the rock there on the left hand side. So this is a couple of kilometres in length. So a German company designed the machine, they built it in China, brought it out here, did the job, sent it back to China, and they got a credit from anything that they could return. So it has made a huge difference to Auckland's traffic flow by having two roads. One goes through the central part of the city, and this one rings around on the outside. Our speed limits are in kilometres. We were in miles. But, when I was a lot younger than I am now, we changed from miles to kilometres, and we changed from inches to metrics, and we changed from pounds to dollars. So we went through all that process. I know as a motor mechanic we used to, all our tools were all in the old Whitworth, and I can't remember what the other one was now. But then when all the Japanese cars started to come into New Zealand, we all had to go out and buy metric socket sets, suspenders and all the rest. That's the way it is. Because when I started in the motor industry, most of our cars came from Britain and Australia, but mostly from Britain. And of course then the Japanese market started to take off, and so the big changes began. So we've come out on the city side of the tunnels now. So this is the other harbour. Okay, that's all cloud. Thank you. So it's the upper part of the main harbour, which is down by your hotel, and there right in front of you is the central city. You can see the Sky Tower, which is right beside your hotel. Some of the high-rise buildings that make up the central city. Somebody must have told the police that you people are arriving in the city. The police helicopters up here watching us. Who's misbehaved? Are struggling. We've got with too much water. We've got other areas that haven't got enough. So yeah, I've just been away. Got back last night from being a tour up north, and it was nice and green. This time of the year, sometimes it can be brown. So you know, we do have very changeable weather because of where we are in the Southern Ocean like this. In Melbourne's just been hit with some bad flooding. So the bottom of Australia. So yeah. A couple of weeks before I was in the South Island, and we had a lot of snow. We had a lot of beautiful fine weather. So
what are those flowers on the bushes over there?
of the purple
Purple wisteria.
wisteria, yes.
So obviously we're going against rush hour traffic.
Correct. Correct.
Good for us.
But this queue over here to the left, that's getting caught up now in the rush hour traffic that's going north over the Harbour Bridge. So it's the main motorway that runs right through the city, which is the #1 highway from the top to the bottom of the country. It's going to be going through here in front of us in a minute, and that could be crawling in both directions because of the passing through people going home in all the different directions. It's moving quite well today. That's actually interesting. These vehicles coming up here on our left are going south. So sometimes that can be all at a standstill.
What's the most fun things for tourists to do in your city?
What's the most fun things to do? Oh, just try and keep away from playing dodgems with the cars.
I'm not going to be driving, so it's helpful.
So if you want to do something exciting, you could always jump off the Sky Tower, which is just up the road from where you're staying.
They do bungee jumping.
They do a controlled bungee. It's not an actual bungee because they can't have a bungee on it because you swing around too much.
Oh, yeah.
And you're liable to swing it and hit the column that's holding the tower up. So most of the buildings here on the left are Auckland University. I might just try this one and see if we get around this. So we've got two universities in the city, Auckland University, and we have got Auckland University of AUT, Auckland University of Technology. So they're both in there close to each other. So our main harbour is virtually in front of us. You've got to take a little walk down from your hotel.
So we're visiting during the shoulder season, right? In other words, we're not at the cusp of tourism yet.
It's just starting.
Okay.
And it is starting with a vengeance.
Oh.
But all I would say to you, the fact that I've been out and done a couple of tours, one was New Zealanders and one was overseas people, is be prepared to be delayed, but to be not given the service that you might be expecting.
Okay.
Because New Zealand and the rest of the world have lost millions of workers, and we don't know where they've gone, but they have, as if there's just a big hole's opened up and they've just gone poof, down the hole and disappeared.
We have that problem too.
And I'm sure you've got it. Yes, I've just been a tour with Australians and Canadians, and they were saying the same. So hotels are struggling to get staff, shops are struggling to get staff, and you will go into somewhere, and I can tell you it'll happen, and the person will say to you, I'm sorry, but it's going to take a little bit of time, I'm here on my own. And just got to grit your teeth and be patient.
Okay.
That's all you can do, is be patient, because we are going to have to rebuild the country as far as the tourism industry is concerned, and it is going to be not done in 5 minutes.
No. Like bus lanes are green, huh? Yep.
What is that Civic?
The Civic is an old picture theatre.
Okay.
And lovely old building. This is Queen Street, left to right here. This is our main street of the city. And sorry to say it, but our council have, in their wisdom, they're doing all these great modifications to it, and all they're doing is killing it.
Really?
Yeah, it's sad. It really is sad. So,
Can
used
you?
to be a beautiful road that, you know, plenty of cars, people could park and they could go into the shops, and they They expect everybody now to get out on their push bike or their skateboard or their scooter or their feet and move around that way. And it's not happening. It's just sad to see where it's gone, but we've just had a new election. We've elected new councils and mayors and things, so we'll be intrigued to see what does happen.
I don't think I understand what you mean with Queen Street.
It's the main street we just crossed.
Are they making it too modern or too back in the day-ish, or what?
It depends which way you look at it.
Okay.
I say we've gone backwards.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
that's Roger's opinion.
Okay, Raj.
And I am not alone on that opinion.
Sure. Okay.
If that makes sense to you.
Oh, sure.
It's a bad move for what we have done.
Yeah, I think I heard that.
Everyone who has a firearm is meant to be licensed, and you're vetted by the police. It's a lot of procedure to go through. And after what happened in Christchurch a few years in centre, that building there on the right as well, that was the one that was under construction when it caught on fire, and they lost the whole top out of the brand new building that wasn't finished. So they have had to start again on a lot of it.
High crash risk.
So the locals do not look down.
And so that's where, as I say, you are at the beginning of it, and there's a lot of things that are going to have to happen, and there's going to be things that will change, but there are still a lot of vehicles parked up that are not operating. But then our company and a lot of other companies have got the luxury coaches like these, we cannot cope with the amount of work that's now coming through. So
It's a good problem to have.
it's very positive, for what we're seeing. So I've made this mistake, we'll have to go down this section. So here's a piece of our Queen Street, now we've come back onto it. This piece of Queen Street is now, the cars are banned. It's the buses only.
Okay.
Even those cars driving up here, they'll get a ticket for doing it.
Really?
Yep, they've had all the warnings, and they'll now most likely get a ticket. Cameras. So this is our main street, as I say, of the city. And that's what they've done to it. So Aotea Square on the left hand side, our old town hall on the left, lovely old building, and then Aotea Square, Aotea Centre over there, so that's for the arts. And we've got several different theatres over there in that building. They've just spent some money on that, again, tidying it up. So we certainly have got a lot of facilities for people to enjoy. We've just got to get the people in here to enjoy it.
Our bus driver is pulling off nearly a 360 with the bus. This is a move that's never been tried before. And he has done it. How about a round of applause for our driver?
Fantastic.
Yeah, we're just going to get back to where we want to be. Which way are we going to go?
The cones don't help you much, do they?
No, but they do move.
Oh yeah, you can go right over them if you have to.
Look at the birds next to us.
Alfred Hitchcock.
So you're saying that a couple of years ago there was traffic going in each direction,
2 lanes in each direction.
and you prefer that over a walkway for people and pedestrians?
Yes.
Makes it more fluid,
Well,
the way it used to
like you
be.
said, you have to drop off people at a hotel. You block the whole lane.
Right.
Yeah. Been changed several times.
Yeah, the retail shopping brought people into the city. This was a very vibrant, busy place. I can remember when malls first started to appear in New Zealand, they said Queen Street particularly, and another lot of shopping area which is called Newmarket, they'll die. Well, they didn't. They kept on, and they've survived very, 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 very well for a long period of time. And it has been so noticeable. Tied in with COVID, I know, okay, the two things happen together, but we have got a committee of people in the council. Someone's watching on a camera, they're going to wonder what on earth we're doing, aren't they? He's going up again.
I kind of appreciate the tour of Queen Street.
Yeah, this is very fun.
Yes.
Yes, well, as Anthony suggests you drive down Queen Street tomorrow, tell him you've had a good look at it. So there's the old Queen Street ahead of us, as you can see.
Oh, yeah.
There's 4 lanes, 2 going up, 2 coming down. So that's what it was like right the way through.
Hey, Paul,
Way too easy.
to the right, the building says Auckland Sunday School Union.
Yes, that's an old building in Auckland.
So,
Is there a prominent faith tradition here? We know you have a lot of diversity, Polynesians, Asians. Is
Very much changing face these days compared to what it was when I was a young fella. And,
Catholicism?
we would have, back in the day when I was young, there would be there's the Catholic Church, and then you had the Methodists and the Anglicans and the Baptists. But today we cover the whole range. Yeah.
Okay.
So we've got mosques and all sorts of a lot of those sort of. So as I say, if you're going to do the bungee, either do it before dinner or don't eat too much.
Is cricket popular here?
Cricket is very popular in New Zealand. Yes.
And we're heading into that season, I believe.
Yes. I don't know where our guys are at the moment. I think they're overseas.
How did the All Blacks do this year?
We did win the championship, and we did retain the Bledisloe Trophy, which is the one between New Zealand and Australia.
Oh.
But at the moment we have the Women's World Cup rugby tournament on here in New Zealand, and we're hopeful that we're going to be able to win our own tournament. We'll see. England and France are the main threats. So those games are being played in Auckland.
Here's Radio New Zealand, probably.
So it's just disappeared. You can see the top of the harbour bridge, and it's just gone out of view. Sorry, out to the left. So the waterfront is just a short distance down, a dip ahead of us down there. Whose dessert it is?
Pavlova?
Pavlova. Yeah, always very nice. There's nothing much to it, but doesn't put on any major inches.
What is Pavlova?
I don't do anything, don't make it, so I wouldn't have a clue what's in it.
So it doesn't sound like you're a fan of
I love it. I
Pavlova.
love my Pavlova, yeah.
Is
Apple crumble apple and blackberry, apple and blueberry, apple and something rather crumble, and ice cream. That's another good Kiwi favourite. Cheesecakes.
Cheesecake, okay.
Can I get a good hamburger here?
Can you get a good hamburger here? We'll show you how to make a hamburger.
You're going to have to bring a bus in tomorrow to pick us up?
So there's your hotel in on the right hand side. So
Oh, right. Good grief.
This is the Auckland Bridge. And I'm at a place they call West Haven. And there seem to be marinas all around me. The Auckland Bridge. And then in the distance, we're actually standing near a cruising club, Ponsonby, or Ponsonby. In the distance,
Squeeze our way out of the hotel.
Like it.
A jar of Vaseline on either side. Coming in is worse.
Oh, boy. We did that yesterday.
Yeah, it's glad he didn't grab my coach yesterday. At the moment we have an underground railway at the bottom of the main street, which is down to our left, Queen Street.
I didn't realize they got slaves in New Zealand.
And this is now running around about 2.5 years behind schedule.
Thank you, COVID. Scheduled to be completed.
Yeah, COVID seems to take a blame for a lot of things.
It's convenient.
So this across the road is building a new A-tier station, and it drops right down below ground. They've just finished tunnelling the 2 tunnels, which takes it out to a suburb of Mount Eden. Where we're going to head for first, we're going to go and get the fresh air part out of the way first. I'm going to take you down to the big wheel. Hopefully the council's got the road open today. And that'll give you a view of one of our crossings across the Waitemata Harbour, the Auckland Harbour Bridge. And also West Haven Marina, which is the largest marina in the Southern Hemisphere. So this Sky City Casino Complex, Sky Tower, and then where you see the crane to the right in front of us, that's the National Convention Centre getting built by Sky City. I should say rebuilt. It's due to open in 2019, December 2019. And they were putting the last piece of roofing on, a rubber membrane, which they heat up with a flame torch. Winds were gusting probably around about 70-80 kilometres an hour that day. Young apprentice was doing the last bit of sealing on the roof, and his boss came to him and said, "It's afternoon tea time, put it down, get off the roof." The apprentice said, "No, I've got to want to finish doing this, only got a bit to go." And he goes, "I told you to get off the roof," and pulled rank on him, made him put the gun down. Unfortunately, he didn't have time to deheat the gun, etc.
Oh dear.
And the roofing, they were started using on that convention centre is a brand new product. It's a concrete layer with straw compacted in between concrete. And in the 5 minutes that he went down, then he raced back up again. By that time, the wind had caught the flame and the whole roof had caught fire. It took the fire brigade 2 weeks to put it out because of the way the roof panels are constructed. As a result,
are they putting the same ones back on?
I'm not sure. We haven't heard.
The apprentice got fired.
The roofing contractor threw the apprentice under the bus. He just blamed the apprentice for everything. Sky City stood by the apprentice, got him a job elsewhere.
Good.
And the roofing company had gone bankrupt. Well, when you're going to pay for a whole new convention centre, someone's got to pay for it. So Fletcher's, who are building it, large New Zealand construction company, they invoked their insurance clauses, etc., and stripped it right back down virtually to the ground level and had to rebuild because the heat of the fire was just so intense. Buckled all the beams and steel beams.
Oh my gosh.
As I said, it was almost ready to open.
That's a shame.
So they've been asked on the completion date, they won't give one. Area for Auckland, it's reclaimed land. The foreshore used to sweep in and around underneath these apartments to our left in the New World and around to the coast hills just on the left hand side of us. So this is all reclaimed. So during the summer months we play our summer sport of cricket here, and in the winter you'll have football, you'll have rugby, all kinds of sports going on down on the grounds down here.
Skate park.
And skate park, just to keep our skateboarders and our scooter riders happy. Now running up above us is the southbound lanes of the State Highway 1 coming off the Auckland Harbour Bridge, and underneath us is the northbound lanes. So we'll put the northbound lanes underground. They wanted to expand it, and the public complained about too much roadway being up in the air, so they put it underground and it comes out just over the other side to our left. Now the Auckland Harbour Bridge originally built as a 4-lane bridge, opened in the 1950s, and soon realised how much people loved living over the north shore of Auckland, and as a result the traffic numbers were so great they had to immediately order 2 extra lanes for either side. They were manufactured out of German steel at Nippon Engineering in Japan, floated down on giant barges, and we craned them up and clipped them onto the outside of the bridge. They're now known as Nippon clip-ons. That's a true story. Because it was manufactured by Nippon Engineering, and we literally just clipped them on the outside. Had the German engineers down a few times to put in strengthening inside the box, girders, etc. it's made of. At one stage they wouldn't let any heavy vehicles out on the outside edge. So it picked up on 1 or 2 stress fractures.
So why do people not want to have roads overhead?
Particularly over the Victoria Park area, they wanted to keep it an open green space.
Okay.
Now the area we're just coming into, to our right is the Wynyard Quarter, then across the next one is the viaduct.
Oh, viaduct, yeah.
So this all used to be warehousing, etc. You get a lot of marine shops down here, and If you're lucky enough and can afford it, you can get your outdoor boat parked in the Orms Marine mega boat storage here.
Yeah.
And they put it up into a boat rack. Phone them up, tell them you want to go out, they'll take the boat down off the rack, put it into the water, make sure it's refueled, stock up the fridge and everything for you. At a small charge.
Maybe a big charge.
And then when you come back, you just chuck in the keys and they bring it out, wash it down, clean it all up, put it back in the rack ready for next time. So down here we have a lot of super yachts come in here for refits. It's the only way they could get into New Zealand during COVID, was that they agreed to spend an exceptional amount of money on a refit. Got a couple over there at the moment, double master over there. Of course we had a lot down here for the America's Cup, which is no longer going to be raced here in New Zealand. It's moving to Barcelona in Spain. And there's a number of New Zealanders not too happy with that, because Team New Zealand came cap in hand asking for more money. Auckland ratepayers stumped up a lot of money to build a new complex, which was just over to the right. And now they've been
snubbed
us off and said, we're in charge of the cup, we'll go to wherever we think we can race it.
Where is that facility? Have we passed it?
We'll come past their old facility. They've just been chucked out there by Auckland Council. They built a new one just here. Building. So they've moved right down this end. This end all down here used to be oil tank farms. So it used to be where all our fuel came in. It used to be giant bunkers for oil, etc. all around over here, tanks. That's all been taken down now, and they're going to turn it into a parkland. Opens right out onto the Waitemata Harbour.
Does New Zealand have its own oil production?
We used to have a refinery up in north of Auckland, around about 200 k's north of Auckland at Whangarei. But that has now been closed because they said that wasn't making, we're losing money. And as soon as they closed it, our fuel prices jumped up by about $1 a litre. So this is the Waitemata Harbour, our #1 harbour. Waitemata, W-A-I, means water in the Maori language. Te, the, mata, sparkling, the sparkling water. So you can see the sunshine out over there, the water's absolutely sparkling.
It's all going to be underwater with global warming, right?
A whole lot in New Zealand probably, yeah. I'll let you get out here and take some fun.
There's the Auckland Bridge. I'll put the name of the harbor on the screen later in post-production. I can't spell it. An authority on some of the memorabilia here. Roxanne Martin, Diana McAllister.
It was Jan. Jan told me everything that I know.
What is that we know about this thing standing behind me?
I don't know, we've forgotten. It's a dredger. It was part of a dredger from 1903.
Okay, was it a gift from the United States to the Maori people?
No.
It was not, but that would have been a good idea.
Oh, there it is.
And then it was out of service by 1934. Which was when I started Gracelander. Yeah.
I didn't think we had to make an announcement about acting your age, but Alfred Jack Knapp trying to impress the crowd. He just It's for my grandkids.
So looking down in front of us is the Ports of Auckland, owned by the Auckland City Council, and they're now wanting to shut it all down and move them off. They want to turn all that land into parkland so that people can have access to the water. The port's only been here since 1840 when people started first moving in, the Europeans started moving in here. Now if you look straight in front of us, the building straight in front of us, that's the ASB Theatre building, and
Oh, the yellow?
the one with the yellow patches on it. That building's won numerous awards for its environmental usage. It has no air conditioning. The shelves-like features on the outside that you see, they all move and they rotate the sun, make sure the sun doesn't go into the building, and keeps it at its steady temperature all year round. So it's very environmentally designed.
Not as expensive as air.
So recently, this was all tank farm, and they just pulled them out fairly recently. They've had to dig out a fair way and refill it because of the contaminated soil. And a little wharf here on the left-hand side used to be where all the fuel tankers used to come in.
So where does all that cargo go now?
It's taken off up in Whangarei and brought down by pipeline.
Okay.
Did a tour a couple of weeks ago, and they had on their itinerary, you will be taken to the big wheel. It was on the same day we had Rally New Zealand on, and this was all their parc fermé for the rally cars, so it was all closed off. And because they'd come on a long weekend, because we decided to take a day off for memorial for the Queen's burial, everywhere we went, places that were closed. So they had a really rough trip.
So this is your springtime.
It's now officially spring, although last week we had snow to around about halfway up the North Island. Big Antarctic blast came through and brought snow down to sea level.
Okay.
So this here looks like a naval boat. It's like one of our fishery patrol vessels. We have a 200 kilometre economic zone around New Zealand for fishery, and our Air Force and everything are up there watching all the overseas fishing boats. And it gives our Navy something to do. They go chasing them and pulling them up and confiscating the boats off them if they're inside our 200k area. It's then up to them to prove that they weren't. Now this area, this road here is all shared. It's pedestrian, it's cars, buses. Used to have a tram running around here. It was put in there for the America's Cup, etc. And it was the last America's Cup was held in the middle of COVID. So we had a slightly reduced audience, life-wise. So the Auckland Fish Market just here on the right. Fantastic place to come and sample the fresh fish brought in straight off the water. And this is the ASP building that we were looking at before. So all those panels all move, all those little fins on the...
They move by themselves. There's no remote control.
Yeah, it's all solar powered building and everything, so...
Okay.
Now Auckland's a city that you're going to experience 4 seasons in one day. So we don't guarantee the sun's going to stay out. So just down to our left, this is the old Team New Zealand base. That's where they're doing all their experiments at the moment on solar powered boats and wind powered boats, etc. Running electric boats. They got electric chase boats now, powered by solar power. New hotel here on the left is the Park Hyatt. Seem to design all these hotels and don't think about tour groups coming in.
Is there a play going on right now? I'll just Google it.
Sorry?
Is there a play going on right now in the theater?
I'm not sure. You'll probably have to Google that.
Oh, look at this.
And this is the inner harbour area where they used to have the America's Cup boats. It's now been turned into a leisure craft area, super yachts. The accommodation that's here, the ones over the far left, that used to be the America's Cup village where the sailors and everything stayed. Everyone except for one sailor.
Oh, what's his name?
One gentleman decided he wasn't going to have his crew anywhere near the other teams. Does anyone get any idea who it might
Was that
be?
the guy that won the whole thing? Was his name Connor? No.
Dennis Connor.
Dennis Connor. And he could afford to be snobby because he won the thing all the time.
Until New Zealand came along, he took it off him.
Oh, Dennis Connor is American.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm remembering these things.
The Dennis Connor Stars and Stripes Syndicate, and he actually he built a
wing keel,
his own apartment building just up near Victoria Park there for his crew and everything. And he wondered why everyone else got the jump on him, because they all had their weather stations out on the harbour. He was inland, so he didn't really have the same weather readings that everyone else got.
Really?
So down here you find all the Hewlett Packard, Microsoft, everyone's got their head offices set up here. In New Zealand, we're back down where we first entered the viaduct area, and they're moving out. We're going to shift out to the Auckland International Airport. Decided no point having the airline based here when the planes are actually out at the airport.
Is that Penguin an IBM employee up there in the window?
Yeah, he's permanently cleaning fingerprints off the windows. They all just stand there looking at the view with their hands up on the window. You know, let me out.
Now my first impression is that I don't see a lot of people. Am I right?
Work time.
Okay.
In the offices.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we still haven't got enough overseas people into the country yet, so take a little bit longer to get them in.
Okay.
You say overseas people, where are predominantly the tourists come from?
Luckily for New Zealand, nearly every country in the world come here, and everyone is welcome. So you're looking at Australians, we don't let them in. So it's just out here is where the original America's Cup boats were all tied up just here to our left. So it gave the public a really close-in feel to the camp area. They could come in here and see the boats up close. And it was just party time the whole time, especially when New Zealand won it again. You couldn't even get into the city, it was just jam-packed, total gridlock.
Question.
Yes, sir.
The bicycles and scooters we see, does one have to rent those?
Yeah, you can rent those. It's just need the app on your phone, either Google or Apple, and it charges back to your credit card. Does it on a minute basis. Make sure you wear the helmets that they provide, and please be aware of pedestrians.
Well, what's the name of the company that we should search to get the app? Do you know?
it all depends on which one you find.
Okay.
It's different.
Lime.
Yeah, lime.
There's lime, there's move, they've just recently passed a new contract acts, and they've kicked half of them out. They said there's too many of them.
Really?
They were on a trial period for 6 months, and the emergency services, well, here, an accident emergency at the hospitals, want them banned altogether.
Oh, they do. The emergency hospitals.
Because the accident rates on them are not so much just them, it's the elderly walking down, they can't hear them coming.
Oh.
And they were coming down the road at around about 25 k's an hour. On the footpaths, you can't now price it in the unleaded 91. And that is never heard of before. Like, we used to be down at about $1.20 a litre before Russia and decided to do this silliness.
Yeah.
And the fuel price just tripled. We pay, on the heavy vehicles, we pay a road user charge, which is the meter in the front of the coach. That's measuring our kilometres, and we're charged.
Right there.
So that's all fed off GPS, so it's tracking every move we make. And that goes back, and the government add on a fuel tax onto us, the road user charge. In Auckland City itself, there's a 25% levy on the fuel to pay for public transport, keep the public transport costs down. At the moment, all public transport is running at half price. And the reason for that is because of COVID and to try and get people back onto the public transport.
Sure.
So public transport's run by AT Network. It's all run on you got a smart card that you can get from the shops, and you tag on, tag off. There's no cash handed over on the bus at all. So it's all on a hop card. And use the same card for the trains and for some of the ferries that go across on the harbour. So this is Custom Street that we just come onto. Now the wall on our right, that used to be the seawall. That's where the old sailing ships and everything and steamships used to tie up to, paddle steamers. And so all the land out to our left is reclaimed. Our newest shopping precinct here in downtown Auckland is just coming up on our left, the last towers here, and that's Commercial Bay. Restaurants, I think, up around level 14, I think. The food hall. So the food hall's fairly high up, so it gives you a view out over the harbour as well. Lovely old creamy coloured building on our right is the old Custom House. No longer our Customs House now, because ships used to pull up right beside it, pay over their fee for berthage and any duties, taxes on the goods they're bringing in. So it's kind of appropriate. It's now DFS, Duty Free Shoppers Galleria. So it's still tied in with customs.
People.
Now we're coming down on Custom Street here to Queen Street. Queen Street, our main street, commercial street opening up to the right. And also runs to the left, but it's pedestrian more from here through to the harbour.
Queen Street is north-south.
Runs north-south. If you go right up to the top of Queen Street to Happy Road and run down the hill, it's the Golden Mile.
The Golden Mile.
So you can run down from the top down to the bottom, down to the harbour here, and that's 1 mile. So all the stone built, the Dilworth building here on our right, and the town hall, and also the custom house, all built out of Oamaru's stone, and that's brought up from the South Island of New Zealand. They cut it up there, brought it up on ships to build the buildings up here in Auckland. So a lot of stonework comes from here. All the timber that you see inside the buildings, that's all native to New Zealand. And you also find a lot of our native timber went up to England.
We are bisecting Queen Street right now.
Now just over to our left, Movenpick. That's not the ice cream. They own that hotel. They've renamed the hotel Movenpick. Used to be the Grand Mercure. And during COVID, what we did was any returning resident coming from overseas into New Zealand after we shut the borders way back in 2020, they had to go into 14 days isolation. Originally it started out you had to spend 14 days at home. It was on a honesty basis.
Right.
But people weren't obeying it, so the government went, you'll now go into 14 days accommodation paid for by the government. Government went, all these hotels had gone out of business virtually because no one coming in. So the government rented about 14 hotels in Auckland. We had 4 in Hamilton and 4 down in Rotorua for people coming in. And what we did was we brought them into here. There was Army, Defence Forces here, meeting them, greeting them, taking them in, processing them one at a time in through the alleyway of that hotel. And one hotel down in Rotorua used to take us 2.5 hours to unload 28 people. And we'd have 5 or 6 coaches lined up and they're going, you'll need to be 20 minutes apart. We said, well, we were until we got here. And I felt sorry for the people because they'll come off a 36-hour flight and then on an Emirates flight flying in, and then they get told, they wouldn't tell them anything inside, they just told them outside, your grant transportation's organised outside. They'll hop on the bus and then we say, congratulations folks, you're off to Rotorua. You got a 4-hour drive. And the good part is, you get to use a block of toilets that we've set aside for you in an aerodrome halfway down. And that was, you went through fencing and everything and security guards. And you had the police out in the paddocks, making sure no one ran off. But they were fed, you had all your meals. 4 of the hotels, we were running exercise buses because they haven't got any exercise area at the hotel. Crown Plaza had out the front of it.
That's where we're staying.
Yeah. Kelly's house, and then is that
They all the hotels have been totally refurbished. They got brand new hospital, better than hospital grade air conditioning systems in the hall. So they've all done very well out of it. The hotels, like they just held off on refurbishing because they went, the government's going to pay for it. So the government's paid for it all.
Seeing that the government paid for all that, what are the taxes here?
Taxes, we're paying, it's a divided off rate. You got your first 40,000, you're on 17%.
17?
Yeah, and then you go up to 27, 33, and 42 if you're above, I think it's about 150,000 on income per week.
Wait a minute. If I make $150,000, I'm going to be taxed 42%.
Of the amount over that?
No, on the amount over the 150,000.
Thank you for the clarity.
Yeah. So your tax rate goes up, steps up.
Yeah, marginal tax rate.
And how do the locals feel about that? Would New Zealanders say, by and large, that they fear it's a fair shake?
Fair shake for some of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So most of this is inner city apartments, and predominantly a lot of it was overseas university students, Chinese, etc. So a lot of them are sitting empty, particularly on the buildings to our left, scene 1, 2 and 3. And people paid around about $300,000 for an apartment then, about 10 years ago. They're now selling, you can pick them up for $80,000.
80,000 versus 300?
Yeah, the apartments are a loss. It's not something like
So you
the one-bedroom apartments.
Okay.
Now, one of the things that a lot of New Zealanders are angry about is the building over to the left front is coming past one of our supermarkets here, Countdown. Countdown, if you notice the outside also has a Woolworths sign on it. It's because two companies belong together now, they've all joined forces. So Countdown run all the supermarkets in New Zealand, Woolworths look after the supermarkets in Australia. This one used to be at 24 hours, but after COVID it's gone to 6 AM to midnight. Now out on the wharf, the yellow fencing on the building there, that's a car park they built, and that is for all cars coming into New Zealand. We import, there's a giant ship there at the moment, the car ship. They come in 3 times a week, the car ships, offloading new cars and used Japanese cars. So it makes the car very affordable in New Zealand, so much so that we're averaging around about 2.9 cars per family.
Okay.
And with a population of 5 million in New Zealand, we've got a lot of vehicles registered to be on our roads, too much. Now, all the apartments here are fairly new for Auckland. This used to all be railway marshalling yards. Spark Arena is our home of indoor sports here in Auckland. It's where our basketball team plays, our netball. We have concerts there.
But not your rugby champions.
No, we'll point that out.
Okay.
Eden Park is located over in the suburbs of Kingsland.
Look, you got McDonald's.
Yeah, we have American embassies everywhere. I tell you what, that is the one staple food you can find all around the world.
Yeah, pretty much. Affordable. Pizza Hut.
Anthony, nobody's told us of a particular dish that we should get so that somebody, when they ask us back in the States, tell me you had this. What is that dish?
You can go for roast lamb.
I want lamb very badly.
You can try roast lamb. You can try our veal, venison.
Oh, deer.
Yep. We've got a very good venison farming system here in New Zealand. So this is Ferguson Container Terminal here. Now, if you see all the new straddle lifters they got there, most of those are remote control, the blue ones. So they're all controlled by computer, there's no person actually on them now. The yellow ones have people on, and recently had one tip over.
Oh no.
I'm not sure how he tipped over, but I just think it was speed. And we're just coming down onto Tamaki Drive.
Yes, I've read about it.
Now Tamaki Drive links up all our eastern beaches, and this was built during the 1930s during the Depression. It's a way of giving all the men a job to do, to keep them in active employment. So they built this road. It's built with scoria coming off some of the volcanic cones that we have. Around Auckland we have 47 volcanic craters. Our youngest one is out to the left as we come around here, out in the middle of the Waitemata Harbour, and that is Ringi Toto. That last erupted 600 years ago, so that makes our youngest. Ringi Toto means blood red sky. When it erupted, it turned the sky blood red. So that's the bush covered mountain out to the back.
Give me that name again.
Ringi Toto Island. It's uninhabited, but you catch a ferry out there and you can walk right up to the summit. Have a tractor ride, brings you back down. Points coming out, you have Mount Victoria and North Head. North Head is a naval installation. Underneath there are tunnels and gun emplacements, etc. So we're just coming around Judges Bay at the moment.
Judges Bay.
This is another marina area for sailboats, yachts. So the yachts tie up out here, and then on the other side of the road, very shortly, we'll have the Auckland Outboard Motor Club, and they have their yachts tied up in here, motorboats in here. And the way to enter into the marina here is going under the Cream Bridge down in front of us. So they can only come really in at low tide, so they've got to time themselves very well. That tree you see growing along the road here is the New Zealand Christmas tree. That's the Pahutakawa.
On the left or right?
Both sides.
Okay.
Just to make it easy for you, Paul.
That's important.
Christmas, about 2 weeks at Christmas, it comes out in a lovely crimson red flower.
Oh.
And you'll find out around the northern coastline of New Zealand. It's a protected tree. I'm not allowed to chop it down or anything. Done a little bit of pruning. So this is all the outboard boats, and they make their way under this bridge here and out to the harbour. The boat sheds here, been here for longer than I've been around.
What did you call them? Boat
sheds.
Sheds.
So they have a boat, goes up on a ramp.
Oh, sheds.
No one's allowed to live in those. They're allowed to use it as the man's den.
Man cave.
Yeah, man cave. No,
You're kidding.
you're not allowed to actually live in them. And it stays within the family. Normally it's passed down through the generations.
Oh, I see. Yes.
This is Tamaki Yacht Club on our left. Now recently they closed the hard stand here, and the marine people who own the boats aren't too happy because they can't bring their boat ashore anymore to do any work on it. So when the Putakawa's in flower, the whole road's just covered in this crimson petals falling off.
Sounds nice.
It's similar to a bottle brush, but it's actually a flower.
Okay.
It's in a flower shape rather than the bottle shape.
Is this tree, this Christmas tree, indigenous to New Zealand?
Yes.
Okay.
These species are native to New Zealand. Got another one from the Pacific Islands, which is a smaller version. It's not as big. This is Okahu Bay. Now, early Maoris settled, came ashore here in their waka, in their giant canoes. The Maoris arrived in New Zealand probably around about 1100 AD. First Europeans stepping ashore 1769. Captain James Cook making friends of the Maoris and claiming it for the British Empire.
British Empire.
French arrived a little bit afterwards down the South Island, tried to claim it until they went up over the hill and saw the British flag already, ensign already flying, so they missed out. First person to sight New Zealand was Abel Tasman, a Dutch explorer, and he sighted it in the 1600s but never actually came ashore. Maoris chased him off. Now, the cemetery here is predominantly Maori descent, and they have a marae here as well, and one up on top of the hill. What we're going to do is take you up on top of the hill here, show you around a little bit, give you a chance to go out and take some photos out off the point again. Now this building on the right is a restaurant. Mantles used to be the pump house. It's a water pumping station for our original sewage plant, and the sewage plant used to be located down underneath the water road here. It's now Kelly Tarleton's underwater world. Kelly Tarleton was a famous diver. Used to dive on all the shipwrecks around New Zealand. and he wanted the sea life to be shown to the people of Auckland, so he designed Kelly Tarleton's, and he turned all the underground tanks that they had here, put in an acrylic tunnel with a conveyor belt for you to go underneath water and have the sharks and stingrays and everything swimming above you. He was the first man to put in a conveyor belt acrylic tunnel of any aquarium in the world. Fortunately, he died of a heart attack just before completing it. His family completed it. It's now one of our major tourist attractions. All schools come here. You got Team New Zealand practicing out there.
Is that where the glowworms are? Have you heard of the glowworms? Okay.
That's down in Waitangi.
Okay.
Yeah, a little further south than here.
Anthony, you've seen, you know where we're supposed to go today. We don't always get it right, but you do other tours. Is there anything that you said, oh my gosh, they're not seeing this? Is there any way we could convince you to take us there? Like, I've been reading about this One Tree Hill place, but is there something you would...
One Tree Hill's, it's a permitted visit, so we have to have permits and everything going in there.
But is there anything else you'd say, Paul, I could squeeze this in?
Well, we've got this one here, which we normally don't go up.
Okay.
So that's why we're going up Bastion Point now.
Okay.
So I'm squeezing this in for you.
I love you, buddy.
Reason for that is, like, climbing up on the cliff face here. This is all controlled by the Maoris now. 1841, we had signing the Treaty of Waitangi up in Russell in the Bay of Islands, and that was supposedly to be a peace deal between the British and the Maoris. Some of the Maoris didn't sign it, started a whole new venture again. That was the Kingi Tanga movement. But all the Maoris have a marae. It's a meeting community area where they have their birthdays, their weddings, everything takes place on the marae. The funerals take place there, they're tangis. Tangi lasts for around about 5 days long. The body lies in state on the marae.
Oh, wow. What is that?
Tangi, T-A-N-G-I. That's funeral. It's their funeral time burials. And they'll lie inside the main meeting house, and that's over to our right-hand side. It's the Poraki Marae.
But we can't underscore how important the Maori people are. Right?
They're still very important to our culture. We've started, all the buildings that you see, public buildings, have their name on the outside. It'll be a Maori name and an English name on government buildings. The Maori language is an official language of New Zealand. We have English, Maori, and our third official language is sign language for the deaf.
Oh, that's neat.
I apologise, I'm only fluent in one of them.
And that's BS. It's a joke there, Anthony. It's a joke. You're doing
okay,
a great...
so we're looking down. You got Team New Zealand racing down here, going back in. They're trialling their latest America's Cup boat. The one's going to be racing up in Barcelona. So they're doing trials. Okay, this is Bastion Point. The blue scout there is for Michael Joseph Savage, a former Labour Prime Minister. And Michael Joseph Savage, when he was in power, decreed that no New Zealander would be without a roof over their head. So he started the social welfare system here in New Zealand and providing government housing at cheap rent for low income people. So it was very, very well received by the local Maori people because they were definitely low income. For many years, Maori wasn't allowed to be spoken in the schools of New Zealand.
You're kidding.
They used to be caned and given a strap and detention and suspended from school if they tried to speak it. Parents were summoned and told, don't ever let your child speak Maori in school again, or else they'll be out of the education system. But luckily, New Zealanders wised up, and some of my best friends at school were Maoris and still are today. They're an absolutely beautiful race of people. live multi-generational. The grandmothers will take over the children while the parents are out working. So the grandparents look after them, so that eventually the grandkids live with the grandparents more than what they live with their own parents. So over to our right hand side is the township of Devonport. Just to the left of it, as you're looking down, is the naval base. That's our New Zealand naval base here in Auckland. Devonport Naval Base. We also have a dry dock there where they can take in ships, etc. Very few US ships, naval ships, have come into Auckland now.
Okay.
Reason being, New Zealand is nuclear free.
Oh.
We have a nuclear free policy since 1987.
Wow.
We declared New Zealand nuclear free. We don't have any nuclear power or anything here. The only nuclear things we have, maybe a little bit of radiation at the hospitals for running chemotherapy, etc. Various medical reasons that we have it here, or else we don't have it at all. So as a result, no warships are allowed in because they may be nuclear power or they may be carrying nuclear weapons. So the US decided we're not coming to New Zealand at all. So if we want to do military activities and training, etc., we have to go meet them in Australia.
Okay.
So that's what happens. We meet them up in the Pacific Islands or wherever.
Do I ever picture people laying on that beach there? That's not a beach, is it?
That is a beach.
Oh, it is.
Yep. Tide's out at the moment. This is Okahu Bay. Christmas time, you can't find a spot here. Like Christmas Day, there'll be families down here barbecuing, having their Christmas barbecue. Santa Claus will be coming in on a wakeboard.
Oh, wow. That is neat.
Wearing jandals and a bit of sunscreen lotion on his nose. It's got to go in too red or else he'll outdo Rudolph. Now, one thing I do advise, particularly if you're going down the South Island, if you're going outside, make sure you put on some sunscreen.
Okay.
Use sunscreen lotion a lot. New Zealand is the coast, has the biggest ozone hole layer over the top of it. So that's the reason why New Zealand is very much into environmental things and climate control. Because we've got a very high skin cancer rate.
Oh, really?
You can burn, you listen, read, watch your weather forecast, it'll tell you burn times. And if it says 11 minutes, only stay out there for 11 minutes.
Really?
And make sure you slip, slop, slap. Slip on a shirt, long sleeve shirt, slap on a hat.
Okay.
Slop on the suntan lotion.
Slip, slop, slap.
Yep.
Is that what you said?
And whatever you do, don't fall asleep on the beach.
Oh my God!
You're going to look like a red lobster. And you'll regret it at night time.
Yes, you will. Yeah.
So you burn very quickly here in New Zealand. I'm going to go left here. I'm going to follow the road up around the coastline. We're going to cut up through the suburb of Remuera, our richest suburb. The most richest houses are up on the cliff face on our left. Just redoing our walkways around the waterfront area. We're widening all the footpaths to make it more pedestrian friendly, but also to allow for cycle lanes and e-scooters. So the tide's out at the moment. We have two beautiful harbours here in New Zealand.
Right.
In Auckland particularly, we have Waitemata, opens out to the Pacific Ocean. And opening out to the west, we have the Manukau Harbour, which is where you landed at Mangere Airport. That's out on the Manukau Harbour, our number 2 harbour. Only small freighters used to use that. Very few of them are using it at the moment. Cement carriers used to go in there dropping off cement, but they decided it's too risky to get in there. They can only come in at high tide into Waitemata Harbour, to the Manukau. Came over a treacherous sandbar. The sandbar was the scene of our worst maritime disaster in New Zealand. 187 sailors lost their lives there on the Orpheus when it ran aground on the sandbar at the bar to the harbour and the Tasman Sea. It's during a storm. They got blown onto the sandbar. Fortunately, the waves just ripped the ship apart. And being out where it is, at that stage there was no one living out that area. We didn't have the Coast Guard or anything like that to go out and save them. And the water out on the Manukau Harbour can be very, very treacherous. It's only a narrow shipping channel, and the rest is mudflats. Low tide, it is all mudflats, hence the name Manukau, the wading bird. It's the birds wading in the mudflats doing their feeding.
Okay. But Anthony, where is the spot where if you stood to the left you would see the one harbor and to the right you would see the other? What kind of distance are we talking? A mile, 2, 3?
Between the two harbours?
Yes, sir.
Closest point is 800 metres.
Which is?
At half mile.
We won't be on that area?
No.
Okay.
It's just to the south of us on the State Highway 1.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
So it's very close to chopping it off into a separate island. So we're located on an isthmus here in Auckland. New Zealand's part of the Pacific Rim of Fire, which stretches California, Alaska, around through Japan, down through Indonesia, etc., and down through New Zealand. So parts of New Zealand, you're talking only millimetres of ground before you fall into boiling mud.
Really?
So it looks as though it's nice and hard on top, but underneath you'll cook alive. So that's down in Rotorua. Our only city in the world located inside an active volcano.
Get out of town.
And fortunately you don't go there on your tour. It's definitely a place for clearing out the sinuses.
Oh, really? You're listening to the commentary of Anthony, who's been working for many, many years in this capacity.
Mangrove swamps are very important to our ecological marine life around us. It's where all the young marine life come to hide from the sharks and the rays out in the bay. So come in here and they're sheltered. A number of the Auckland residents now don't like the mangrove tree. It looks horrible looking out their window. So they've set about chopping them all off.
I don't see one. I don't see one. A mango grove tree?
Mangrove. Grove. Yeah, out to the right as we come around. Okay, some of view. Now this is Remuera, one of our richest suburb. The Palmer's Garden Centre, you find garden centres all over Auckland. So these are the mangrove trees just in front of the right.
Okay.
And we've got walkways out across them. And you'll find those growing all around New Zealand, the mangrove.
Are they invasive?
Yes, but very important for our marine life and to keep our fishery going. So just here on our right is St. Cadogan's Junior School. This is for the junior children. Up on the left as we come around, lovely old building, is Barradine Girls College. It's a private Catholic school. The one on the right is a private Anglican church religion school. And St. Cadogan's is one of the most elite private schools. So we have private schools normally run by the various religions. Public schools are provided by the New Zealand government, and all school fees are paid by the New Zealand government, whereas the private schools you pay to get into the area. A lot of them are zoned areas. As a result, the housing prices shoot up if it's a really good school.
Now, did you say this is Parnell Village?
No, this is Berridine College.
Okay.
Parnell Village, we're going to come through on our way back from the domain.
I'll shut up.
So this is Shore Road. So once again, land down the bottom here up to our right is reclaimed. So it's all parkland down here that they've reclaimed. Just put in a bit of parkland, a bit of greenery. When it rains, all in here to the left floods up. And of course, it wouldn't be New Zealand if you didn't have rugby fields.
Rugby fields.
They start kids pretty young with that then.
Start from 4 years of age.
Pretty young.
Well, we almost do the same thing with rec football.
Every sport. Every sport.
T-ball.
Yeah, we start the little ones on tag football now, so they have tags hanging off them rather than tackling.
Yeah,
It's to teach them how to move their hips and sway away from the tackle.
sure.
And currently we have the Women's Rugby World Cup on here in New Zealand. So we've got a team training here, that's why the black fencing's up. Stop the general public from and the opposition from spying on their plays.
Right.
So there's games on Saturday and Sunday. USA's here at the moment. Lost one, won so far.
Okay.
So they've still got a chance of being into the playoffs. They were just coming into the bottom edges of Parnell. Parnell's one of our older suburbs. It's where the original settlers moved in. Unfortunately, during COVID, a number of coach companies went to the wall and weren't able to keep operating. It's particularly the smaller ones. So there's a number of coaches around, travelling around with different people's names on the front as to what the colour scheme is.
I'm really surprised at the elevation variations in the roads.
That's caused by the volcanic activity. So what we're doing now is climbing up onto the crater. So we're coming up from sea level, climbing up the crater. To the left here, Newmarket Park, that used to be the home of soccer. Our national stadium used to be in there. Fortunately, they had a landslip and it took out half the field.
Oh my.
So they never built there again. It's all been turned into native bush. Because they just said engineers couldn't guarantee it wasn't going to slump off again. So this is going to bring us into the Auckland Domain.
Auckland Domain.
Auckland Domain is parkland donated to the people of Auckland. It's also the source of our original water drinking supply. Although I wouldn't recommend drinking that now. Mainly the ducks have decided to take that over. Just leave them to them look after that. And down to our left, you can, as we swing around here very shortly, plan of the council plan for the next 10, 20 years, you don't have to have a parking spot on your section either for your car. Now that's something a lot of people have blown a contention about because we're not quite sure where are all the cars going to be parked. And yes, I'll need you out of there before I can turn on. Cyclists won't get away. This is a case of a building site taking up too much room. Taking over half the road. Just there, the building there is for the blind, and the building next to that is birth care, birthing unit.
Oh, birth care, yeah.
Yeah, if you give birth at the hospital, at the Auckland Hospital, just over the other side of the museum, and then you'll come here for your aftercare.
Kick you out.
Look at the school kids.
Now, I can tell you, someone mentioning about getting kicked out of the hospital. When my son was born, my daughter got born at a different hospital. My son, they moved all the maternity to Auckland City Hospital. Son was born just before midnight. They kicked my wife and the son out at 2 o'clock in the morning.
2 hours later? 2 hours later. They let me stay 24 hours.
That was 2.5 hours after he was born. We were kicked out and sent over here to birth care.
Anthony, this is the Auckland Museum. Is there anything you would say you must go to this floor or this exhibit?
No, because I haven't been in here during COVID. So
That's good information. Okay.
Let's explore at your leisure.
Good answer.
Up on the upper floors you have a Japanese Zero in there.
Oh, wow.
So you have a full Japanese Zero inside. It's the Auckland War Memorial Museum, built for the memory of the troops. And recently we had the centenary of Battle of Gallipoli, World War I. So the land out here to our right was all covered in white crosses, and also over to the grass over to the left was all white crosses representing every single soldier that had been killed. And this area during World War II, all the grass area around here, was the US barracks. So the US troops were based here. Large building directly over there with the chimney stack on, that is Auckland City Hospital, our largest hospital here in Auckland. And just down in front of us is the Winter Gardens. And that's where you can go in there and see plants from all around the world growing. Some of the species you can only see here in the Winter Garden. And the rest of the area is parkland, and at Christmas time we have carols in the park, and they have a large stage set up around to the right, and that's where we have the stage set up, and they have all famous singers come in and singing Christmas carols. It's absolutely packed full of people. Now, the museum was built in 2 stages. The back stage was for World War I, front stage for World War II. Up on the windows you see all different battles that our troops took part in. Now, where we're going to go in is back to our left.
Looking outside the Auckland Museum.
Yes.
Auckland Domain. It's where the museum is based.
This is garden out here on our right hand side. See the raised garden here? That's all different kinds of herbs and smelling flowers. And that was set up for the Blind Institute, which used to be the brick building over to the left there. It's now college, AC Parnell College. So the Blind Institute used to be here, so they set up all gardens everywhere so they could teach the young blind people how to smell the different flowers, etc., and herbs. And so it's still used today to bring the blind people in from the Institute in Southall and bring them into here and take them for a walk along. Yeah, so Jess's birth care, 2 o'clock in the morning, they serve toast and scrambled eggs. That's all I could get for the wife after she'd been in labour for about 10 hours. Now we're just about to turn left here. I'm going to enter into Parnell Village area. Parnell Village is an area set up by Mr. Harvey, a businessman, and he decided to turn all the old villas that were earmarked for demolition, he turned them into a shopping precinct for little boutique shops and cafes and chocolatiers and all that kind of stuff, jewellery shops. To be honest with you, I haven't been in here for the last probably 2.5 years, so I'm not sure what shops are still in existence, who survived COVID or whatever. A number of places hibernated, and unfortunately some of the other souvenir shops, they hung on for as long as they could, and one chain went bankrupt 3 weeks before they opened the border. That's after he sold his house and everything, trying to pay for the rent for the buildings, etc. Now just on our right hand side as we come down here into Parnell, the old wooden Gothic style church here, St Mary's, used to be on the land to the left where the modern apartments are. They moved it across on railway lines, turned it at 90 degrees, put it up against the old cathedral, sold this land here so that they could finish building the cathedral in behind, the brick and the new modern piece on the front. All our state funerals are held here, so any dignitaries who met Hillary when he died, they're buried out of this church. Even if you're not of Anglican faith, you can be buried out of here if you're higher up on the pecking order. Excellent acoustics inside the church. Mormon Tabernacle Choir and everything come over and sing in the church, and we have opera singers having concerts there. This is Parnell Village. I'm going to turn into the left just here, and I'm going to let you walk down Parnell Village, and I'm going to pick you up, not the first pedestrian crossing, the next crossing down. I'll be pulled up on the side.
We're going down the main drag in Parnell Village. Shops to our left and right. There's a chocolate boutique. Boy, I wouldn't give to go in there. It's a beautiful day. It's a bit breezy. The group seems to be in a good spirits. This is kind of torture because you're seeing a lot of things you'd like to eat.
But he won't let us eat.
He won't let us eat.
We're already late.
Yeah.
This woman's going to have a baby. Congratulations.
Anytime, any day.
So is my son's wife, any day.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Good morning, ladies. How are you doing? This is a neat little walk. Parnell Village, one of the wealthier, if not the wealthiest sections in Auckland. One of the wealthier sections in Auckland. Yes, this neighborhood. You got to have some cash to live here. Fred Elliott and his beloved. The only couple holding hands right now. I'd like to point that out. Fred is a major backbone of this trip. He's been asking a lot of good questions, trying to keep us on track. Huh? Yeah, already. I'll bet you they're up year round.
Well, the only problem is that hopefully that's a slow growing tree.
Here's the group as it looked on the day we were here.
Oh, you look amazing.
This is kind of neat, Mel. I like this. Hello, sir. How are you? Hello. Hello.
Hello.
A lot of neat shops. This is kind of like a big tease. You see many, like I'd give anything to go in there and get a pastry.
You and me both, Paul.
Go ahead, Holly.
We could do damage in there.
We could do damage in there. Look at that motorcycle, Ron. That's a Ninja.
Crotch rocket.
That's sure. That's what that would be, I guess.
Oh, yeah. You did really well with that.
Parnell Village. You get the idea.
There's that 40-hour working week. We're the first country in the world to give women the right to vote in a parliamentary election.
Really?
So the suffragette movement started here in New Zealand.
What year?
Oh,
Too hard a question.
Google.
yeah, Google it.
Long time
Mr.
ago.
Google knows everything. And good place to park, right? Right on the road.
Yeah, you can't park here.
So I knocked over the scooter the guy that came down too fast. So the area just out to the right is former railway land. As I said, everything's handed back to the Murrays and
That guy's not supposed to be there.
So
That's
he's
an
in
Uber
one
driver.
of this traffic lane.
Uber drivers can go anywhere they like.
But I'm hearing different pronunciations of this group of people. I'm hearing Mary, I'm hearing Maury. If you look at the spelling, there's that symbol. When I see a symbol that's a straight line over an A, I was taught in Catholic school that that's a hard A. But that's not the way people are saying it. They're saying it like it's a silent or soft A.
It's Mari. So, Ma, M-A, not May. As in
Almost like an
May.
AH.
Yeah, it's an A sound here.
Maury. Thank you for clarifying.
But there's a long dash over top the A. Doesn't that mean
Stretch
it?
out the Mari.
Oh, that's what it means.
Maori.
Maori.
Yep, they silence yo a lot. The written language is different to the spoken language. Like Maori language is a spoken language. The written part of it was done by Europeans as to how they thought it sounded or should sound.
Okay.
So even the place names of the towns and stuff that you're going to come across, some of them are in Maori, but it's only a shortened version of the true name of the town. Because normally when the Maoris name something, it tells a whole story about how it got there. this is Beach Road. As the name suggests, it used to be the beach.
What do you mean? Where?
Reclaimed land.
Reclaimed land we're on now.
So you're saying the water used to be on the right?
Well, it used to be all the way to the left there.
Okay.
So we're actually driving in the old beach area. Out to the right, brick building just out here is the old Central Railway Station. That's the old Central Railway Station. It's now a university hospital. Up on the hills, up above us to the left, is University of Auckland and AUT, Auckland University of Technology.
Just for future reference, you call Bill and I'm not around. That's how you do it.
What is Babbage? Company?
Now, in order to get you down onto the wharf area, we're going to go along the waterfront, along Key Street.
Thanks, Anthony. We really appreciate it. Wouldn't you say that we're one of the more enjoyable groups you've been with?
Oh, for sure. Number one.
What can you say?
How many days a week do you do it?
I'm normally on the road 6 days out of 7.
Oh my gosh.
There's unfortunately tour driving in that. It's one of the lower paying jobs.
Okay.
But it's a lifestyle. And you get to work in an office like I work in. Scenery changes every 5 minutes. Constantly changing.
That's true. It's like exposing yourself to the world, isn't it?
Dealing with the public can be thankless many times.
As I said, this is Key Street, so it's the waterfront area, the other side of the red fencing.
Did you say K Street?
Key.
Key. Okay.
So all the old merchant buildings here have been turned into boutique breweries, so craft beer shops, shopping centres, restaurants.
Yes.
Come close. They're rebuilding it, or they rebuilt it.
Yeah, I think I do remember.
Now, just to make it easier for the people departing, we're actually going to drive out onto the wharf.
You are?
Yeah, I'm going to bite the bullet.
I'm gonna bite the bullet.
So just in behind this building, underground, is Britomart Station, and you also got Britomart Bus Terminal. So all our buses leave from around this area for the outer suburbs.
Look at the ferry building.
The ferry building's the brick building in front of us, now Harbourside Restaurant and Chin Chin.
That ship to the
It's,
right.
I think it's changed its name to another one now.
That's a ship, not a building. It's like a building.
And one of the things you have to watch out for if you're turning across is watch out for cyclists and also watch out for cars going through red lights like this one. So you have to watch out for cyclists and also watch out for people on scooters.
Yeah. Look at that ship. My gosh.
So that's a whole lot of new cars and used cars arriving in.
Wow.
And by the year 2030, the New Zealand government wants everyone driving around in electric cars.
Okay.
Failure to do so, you must pay, on all petrol cars now coming into the country, you pay an extra $8,000 in
Oh wow.
pricing.
Penalty tax. We are on the ferry going over to Devonport. And this is what it looks like from the top deck. We have a very nice young couple here. celebrating a good time together. Some children. Oh, that must be the sound that we're leaving. And this is the shot of the people on the upper deck. And that is Auckland, the city district. And we're on the boat, the little ferry ship. These young men are, this one's going back to Devonport. The other one lives in New Zealand, too. Or one's from Brazil. He's from Brazil. I don't know. Go ahead, sir. Do what you want. Don't let me get in your way. Oh, this is nice. Holly and Mark. Larry and Linda. Doug McAllister. There's Doug McAllister. Do not read anything into this video, and the fact that his wife is not here. She's working on a personal issue. Down there, Scott and Cheryl Hansen. They're enjoying this added-on excursion. Hi, Scott. How you doing? Okay. That's what I want to see. Holy cow.
Yeah, that's right.
Isn't this nice? This is nice. This couple was pre-arranged from India. They're from India. That was a volcano. We're almost here. There's the dock.
Kia ora. We will be arriving at our destination shortly. For your own safety, please remain seated.
We have climbed to the top of some particular peak. I don't know where we are. But there is a tremendous view across the harbor. There is the path we took to get to Devonport from downtown city. Devonport, New Zealand, across the way from Auckland. That is the ferry. That's the ferry dock. There's the Auckland Bridge in the distance. It's windy up here, you can tell by listening to the video. We are leaving Devonport. Several of us did climb that old that old volcano. I had 2 Coca-Colas at lunch. I'm slurring my words. Going back to the mainland. Headed back to Auckland. Water coming up onto the screen. Rich and Deb Higdon.
Yes, we are.
It's good to see him today.
Hello there.
Good to see you. Everybody else is in there. Oh, there's the city. This neat. Look at that person out there in those rough waters. Very much wind, a lot of wind for that person to be utilizing. This is an incredible video. This is the scene inside. Very comfortable for $4. You can't beat it.
No.
Some of the Grace. What happened? Cheryl Hansen and Scott have been over the top with some public display of affection. I'm a little concerned about it. Holly and Mark have been a bit reserved. And there's Larry Phillips and Linda. She's still wondering what was she thinking all those years ago. Ma'am, who are you? Do you live around here?
Sorry?
Do you live around here?
No.
Where do you live?
England.
England, good for you. Sorry about the Queen, but she had a good run. Okay, there's my wife, Evelyn. This young man's laughing at me. Sir, who are you?
I'm Tom, how you doing?
Tom, how are you? Where do you live? You're from around here?
Yeah, right here, yeah.
Aren't you lucky? Can I ask you an honest question? And I don't want you to pull any punches.
That's okay.
Okay? What do you think of Americans? Do you think we're idiots?
No.
Cocky, arrogant, brash?
Some of them.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're loving your country.
Glad to have you. How long are you here for?
Well, we're leaving here tomorrow morning and we're going down to Queenstown.
Oh, lovely. How long have you been in Auckland?
Another 5-6 days,
yeah.
And then we go over to the big Australia. We just got here last night.
Oh, okay. It's a couple of days here. Then,
yeah.
Queenstown's lovely.
And we're having dinner on top of that big...
on the sky tower?
Yes, sir.
That's great. That's great.
And you know what? It rotates a full 360 in 1 hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
My 13th birthday.
Have you been up there?
Yeah, my 13th birthday. Yeah.
Your 13th birthday. What are you, about 19 now?
24.
24. I was 24 once. Good to see you, son. Good to see you.
Nice to meet you, man.
Yes, sir. Okay, and then we see some students here. Young students are going back to somewhere. I don't know where they're going. Prep school kids, right? And do you go to prep school over there on Devonport?
We go to high school in Takapota.
Takapota. Does anybody live in Takapota? A lot of people. Oh, you have a very nice country here. Thank you for letting us visit. This is how the children behave in New Zealand.
Hang on. Oh my God, you silly old man.
Hey, who called me a silly old man?
All of them.
I used to be your age, and I will tell you what, I could bring it. You wait, it's going to happen to you too. The Gracelander group, causing trouble. And look at the schoolgirls here. Hi, ladies. Well, some of you are ladies. I don't know what's going on around here. There's Rich Higdon. This is New Zealand. This is Auckland. Great people. What a great city. What a great situation we're in. This is Larry Phillips before the accident.
No more brain trauma.
There's Mark over there taking photographs. There's a man with a bicycle. He's on a mission. So when you're looking at this video in a few years, this is what Auckland looked like to us. Isn't this spectacular? And then this is Queen Street here. We're walking south, I guess, on Queen. I'm not sure. It's a very nice city. We really enjoy it. Queen Street, Auckland. A lot of great stuff. A lot of people. A lot of good people. We are atop the Sky Tower, and the Gracelander group is assembled for dinner. This is what our seating looked like on the Gracelanders going down under trek. Everybody's very excited to be here. This is our official welcome dinner. This is the situation. Everybody seems to be excited and happy. You've got Diana McAllister, who got her luggage today. She was running out of things, you know, we won't go there. And then here's the rest of the group. This is amazing. There's my good friend Elaine and Elsie, who really seems to be having a good time. Hi, Else. We're glad you're here tonight. This is beautiful. That's pretty.
Yeah, like 7, 10. She wants to get a goat. Oh my! She can look for roast. The guinea pig, she's kind of watching him with her heart with the Max is because she's in the city. That's my yes.